Guys, welcome back to once again another webinar. This is an afternoon webinar. Wasn't home today, was meeting with some very interesting people, mentors and investors. And we definitely did not participate in today's price action. However, I think it's important to follow up with this conversation. Last time we were on the charts, morning and afternoon, we made some predictions. The first one we were talking about is how important it is for price to basically respect a zone the second time, so we can kind of make out or get the confirmation of where the heck price is trying to go. And whoop-de-doo, here we go, right? We can tell this is exactly to the T of what we were talking about, right, guys? Um, the thing is, though, had it not been for price action in London slash Asia to bounce off this low, I wouldn't be here today telling you that, hey, I think it's either gold is gonna buy back up to this point again before it sells, or like really will pick up steam to buy. Uh That's why, like, I haven't traded, and I honestly am looking to see what tonight is looking like, what Friday's looking like, and I even will be seeing what Sunday's London session is looking like. But that doesn't mean I won't take trades if I don't see an opportunity that I can recognize. Okay, so because truth be told, if this setup was happening in New York tomorrow, for example, this would have been a beautiful trade I would take with my stop loss below this structural low. But notice how it's important to see that sometimes as a trader, you want to panic so bad about like the price action you see. In reality, it takes 2 business days for it to form the structure. That's why we see Tuesday, October 28th, Wednesday, October 29th, which proves what I've been saying to you guys. Like, it takes 2 good days for price to like set the foundation of that low that you want to have as confirmation. And whenever they do that, they go a lot further. That's 800 pips. That's crazy, right? This is what the market does now. In 12 hours, a good setup retesting the previous day low gave over 700 pips of work. Now, in reality, a setup like this, if we were to catch it on a smaller account, it's important to get comfortable with the relationship of using conservative positions. It might seem peasant like, it might seem humbling, but trust and believe, a lot of y'all are trading either prop firm capital or your personal capital. And I was having this conversation with this guy earlier. I told him, sometimes I'm seeing certain patterns, which is why some people are where they're at. He's trading a demo account, and he keeps telling me about how, bro, man, if I had 50K right now, man, we'd be up. And then so I had a conversation with them about that. But following up on this conversation, I noticed that many folks who are trading demo, that demo to them is like their fantasy account. But what they don't realize is what you really about to put down is $200, $300 of personal funds. There's such a huge disparity between 100K challenge, $150,000 of whether it's futures or Forex prop firm account, and just having a $300, $200, $500, $1,000 personal live account. In today's market conditions, you have to be humble enough, if you want to grow your account, to use the right risk, because we are living in a really good time when trading gold. Even a 0.03, a humble 0.04, a humble 0.02 gives you the patience to sit through and let that market do what it's supposed to do. Now, I also will include this by saying, you notice not every setup requires for you to be sitting pretty in a trade. Some setups like, bro, that's the intraday setup, you catching, you out. That's the scalp setup, you catching, you out. But some setups, there's a hierarchy to it, right? a previous day retest is not a sweep of last week's. I'm sorry, it's not a sweep of the previous session high. We saw yesterday price took out yesterday's high here or the Monday, Tuesday high here. It pulled back in. Then, of course, FOMC came and it dumped it to that low. Honestly, I took a sell here in Asia. I'm glad I got out right here because of this long wick. You remember I taught you guys, man, don't ignore these long wick areas, Brody, or don't ignore these long wick areas, guys, because they are literally telling you if you thought it was going to keep selling, at least to be safe, get out of your positions, wait and see if there's a break further and a retest to continue to the downside. Good thing I learned from my past, and I also open up to you guys about how I navigate to adapt and improve. I'm not perfect, but damn, do I love to rebuild, restructure with better knowledge because wisdom costs. Boom. Now, you guys are also noticing that previous day retests when the market is retesting on a higher time frame is more so the type of setups you could hold for a longer period of time, like 12 hours. You get in at 10 p.m., you know by 10 in the morning, you're going to see if this thing is well baked. All right. Then you get to make the judgment call whether you want to keep holding it or not, or the smart decision to like close the majority of partials or close that profit entirely. The markets these days, especially since last week, I believe, I guess it's been 2 weeks already. Yeah, it has been. Since we got to this high, things have been a bit uncertain whether we're like fully back onto being bullish and swings or not. So we got to catch them setups for what they are and not doing too much. Make sense? This is
Yeah.
definitely a language we have to learn to adjust to, adapt to based on what it's giving. I don't just trade by memorizing what's it called? Time frames. I trade to understand the language to know what to do when it's in front of me. As you guys have noticed, we're not just sitting here like what's it called? We're not just here. Trading is a dynamic language. You got to know how to move around it. And when it's in front of you, what is it telling you? Right? We're not just memorizing time frames and stuff. Like I let y'all see what you should do from a perspective of psychology, entry, exit, management, and loss prevention or loss management. Because that's what got me here to this point. All right. So now, now that we're done with this aspect of it, it's looking like 3,900 was the lowest point that got retested. And so going forward into the next week or even tomorrow, I want to see if they respect this low here. Because by tonight, Thursday, midnight, Friday, London is usually setting the tone for price action. So if let's say we pull back in here, start to buy by tomorrow, New York, we see a quick pullback. I'm gonna want to take some buys. Not gonna lie. If we keep respecting these zones after this 2 day retest, definitely gonna be looking at like this range. Am I ready to swing trade like we had planned? Nah, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. But there have been some fundamentals that can support different things. Like yesterday, we saw that Jerome Powell announced that once again, we decreased interest rates. Um, on top of that, he also mentioned something about December. They basically back at quantitative easing options. Basically, they about to be printing the money again. All right. QE in December. So they said December 1st, end of quantitative tightening, give markets uh basically, for those that don't know what QE and QT is, quantitative easing is basically um, when the market starts to print again, like risk on. Investors are starting to like really put in some more money in the markets. So here's what the recent Federal Reserve action mean. No QE, but an end to QE. Instead of beginning a new round of quantitative easing, the Fed has ceased its program of reducing its asset holdings. The decision is intended to ease liquidity pressures in money markets. So either way, if it's not QE, like a big floodgate of printing money or reinvesting into the markets, there's still going to be an ease liquidity put being put back into the markets regardless. That's what it's saying. I'm not about to sit here and sugarcoat what it's really trying to say. Right? The Fed will stop shrinking its balance sheet as of December and will reinvest proceeds from maturing mortgage-backed securities into T-bills. So what does this all mean? It just means US 30 gonna keep printing to the upside. For Q1, I can see more new highs created for US 30. What does that mean for gold? I think it's probably going to be some rallies um, within either November or December, per usual for gold. Maybe that's when we'll see price just keep rallying to hit 4,500 or more. All right. I remember a couple weeks back, every time I kept seeing just long rallies from gold, I kept saying, damn, I didn't think we were going to hit 45 or 5,000 this early. And then this happened. So it doesn't mean this might not happen. We're still early into the Q4 and we're about to rally. We're about to transition into November. So for those of y'all who haven't blown your accounts yet, congratulations. So notice I'm talking about um sorry guys. Notice I'm talking about conservative entries, swing slash when to recognize like intraday patterns or 12-hour holds. Notice I'm talking about risk management. And notice I'm once again being more intentional about telling y'all, yo, learn to play the defensive game, man. Like sit on cash, get out of your positions, wait a couple days, because that's what it takes to still survive this market. Forget about all this week by week shit sometimes, man. Like that's what burns you out. I'm not sure who also will listen to the message that I left out in my Telegram. Don't force the last days of the week. The statistics are showing that accounts are blown in the beginning of the month, the first week of the month, and the last day of the month. That's where the statistics is showing. So being mindful of the last few days of the month, no matter how many bills is up, don't try and force nothing and then sitting here in November wishing you had not made that nasty decision the month before. I made that mistake in August. And you know when I go back, I'm like, bro, I didn't have to do that much forcing. I didn't have to be that aggressive just because I'm trying to make a goal by the end of the month. So I pass that message on to you guys to be careful about your emotions and forcing things when there's another week ahead, another month ahead. Let's stay on goal. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And how are we doing with that goal? Are we going steady? Okay. This is me asking you guys, just generalize your answers. We're just keeping each other accountable. Feel free to use the chat. All right. So my outlook on gold is that we will be pushing a little bit further, at least. Dang it. That's not what it's supposed to look like. Maybe we'll touch 4,080 tomorrow. Why is this backwards?
You clicked short position.
I swear I'm clicking wrong position. Thank you. Well, that's why it's backward. That makes sense. Yeah. So whatever pullback we get, I'll definitely be thinking longs because ain't no way we not about to touch these highs in even if it's not like going crazy. Tomorrow, we don't have much USD news anyway, so that's good. Even if it says FOMC member so and so speaks, the bulk of the news already happened yesterday. Now, my thing is, I'm trying to see if this is impacting gold for the whole entire month, like we saw back in September. And so I like to go back and just look at structure. But at least I know now I have Friday and Sunday London to see how the structure is looking like to potentially see what happens next. I don't have to force the trade because I'm afraid I'm gonna miss out on the best entry on a Thursday or Friday or whatever. Like now I can tell gold will connect with Sundays and it's equally as great as an entry, which has slowed me down from making decisions thinking I'm left behind. That fear of missing out is honestly out my system for now. Okay, that has helped me a lot with fear of missing out, FOMO. I'll wait for a good entry, knowing what days usually give the best entries. And that's very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. For example, I'm very glad Natish did what he did. I've been trying to get people to be more accountable by just skipping one day. Like, sit it out. Yeah, I understand FOMC comes with the big guns and a lot of great profit potentials. But what about that great loss potential? You know how many people lost their funds and saw their setups today? Lost a whole account and saw their setups today. Yeah. So with US 30, price definitely was like selling off. And truth be told, I probably would have taken a loss today if I traded. Because I was more so thinking we were gonna sell off into this point and that damn candle by 9:30 was so rock hard. But it's all good. You know, it's good to see what happened after. Like I see a break, a pullback. I'm sure tomorrow we'll get some more buys. This train is not slowing down. US 30 just keeps making new highs. I'm sure they probably touch 50,000 by the end of the year or more. So this is a great time for investors, even though it's a bad time for the average person. Such a funny time we're living in. You know, so it just goes to show you gaps aren't necessarily needing to feel how we thought they would feel. It's all about following up on the days after how like prices pulling back into them. Right. Even when we were selling here on FOMC yesterday, I thought we'd go and fill this gap here or come in a little bit further in here, but the price action here just bounced and kept this low. So it's not easy to be an intraday trader or scalper if you don't know what you're doing and then you're minimizing your risk. You're minimizing your loss. You know, I think it's equally important to be doing the best that you can to invest into like the SPY, Vanguard, just having something on the side where you can invest and add positions to cost average because like trying to pinpoint entries is it can be a hit or miss. So I applaud everybody who's either got a payout or still fighting the good fight on these charts because it can be very tough on the psychology, you know. But overall, we can still see that US 30 is bullish. And because we just decrease interest rates again, that's always a good thing for uh equities markets. Always a good thing for things like US 30. Um, the dollar seemed to have picked up some strength. So no wonder a pair like UJ bought in the middle of the night. I know some people here was expecting this play, and it happened in the middle of the night, which is okay, right, Rich?
Man,
Yeah,
but I closed the week in profit, so
that's good.
I'm good. But man,
I know, bro. Yeah, 11:30 breaking retest, put the kids to bed. Wake up like what the heck? Yeah. How many points and pips did this thing go? 183. Wow. Yeah. Dollars, I mean, the dollars is taking off. The Japanese index is still doing its thing, keeping the rates low, which once again got the pairs like UJ. Let me see how EJ is looking. JPY.
all of them boys shot up.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing is, I was in sales and then I got out.
That's good. I can see where
Then
you
I
got out at.
I got out, then I tried to buy, and then I was like, you know what? I ain't got time to be stressing. Let me close these trades out. And next thing I know, as soon as I got off work, I was like, oof.
Hmm. Yeah, bro. But I'm glad you're closing out the week profitably. That's what matters. Closing out the whole month profitably at this point. Good stuff. Good stuff. And to those of you who aren't, please don't, feel left out or it's all good, man. The journey continues. Just be mindful of what's keeping you from certain areas of progress. We all go through it. August was a bad month for me personally because I burnt myself out. I ain't like that. So I had to slow down. But spiritually, I'm like, wow, I guess I guess God sure knows how to slow me down. I stopped saying I can't afford to slow down a good 3 months ago. Now I get it. Now I get it. Uh, but I've been carrying my own cross for a while now. 2023, I was going crazy. 2024, even though I was dealing with so many different things, even leading up to a major neck spine surgery, I didn't take a day off. The day after the surgery, I was fighting with everyone at the house to keep a day off. The next day after the surgery, my neck was patched up. I still took a trade, made 10K. I'm like, yeah, that skill ain't leaving me. Nah, mine's still intact. Because before going into the surgery, the doctors told me before the anesthesia kicked in, I kept saying, no, I'm losing control. Can't let them take control. I didn't want to lose nothing that I worked so hard to keep in my mind. Like I didn't want a piece of blood clot to go up into my brain or something. Or like I didn't want any, I wanted to feel like I went under the knife. I was lifeless for 4 hours. I wanted to know that when I woke up, there was nothing, no piece of me mentally that left or stayed on that operating table. That was my biggest prayer. So, and can you imagine like you're lifeless? Your life is in the hands of people who could make a mistake and you'll find out later. It was scary. Mind you, I didn't even have time to be thinking about none of that. I was trading, making sure family's good, this, that, and the third. So imagine I still carried that. Like I gave myself a little vacation last year around November. Got to see Christine for the first time, not even in the States, but in Dubai. You feel me? That was such an amazing moment. To this day, I go back to these things, man. Like that was crazy, right, Christine?
Yeah, that was no, that wasn't our first time meeting. We met in Miami.
Yeah, but like you're right. But like when I first met you in Miami, you was just somebody I met off a whim. When I met you
Yeah,
again in Dubai, like we became great
yeah,
friends. We done called pips together. Like it was different, right?
for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, that was something, man. That was something. Got to, meet my wife. Like it was great. It was great. But still carrying into 2025 with going hard, going hard, going hard. Never took a break. And then I was forced to slow down, and I learned how to swing trade for a longer period of time. So it's like every time y'all take losses, don't take it for granted. Don't stay in that funk. Figure out why you're in that funk and figure out how you can become better. And through it, like while you're going through it, figure out something amazing out of that season. Okay. Phil, my last name is Felix, and I always associate it with the Phoenix. And so I've risen out of mad ashes, guys. I always feel like while the fire is burning, or if I get burnt out, I got to figure out how to light the fire again, which is why I'm still here, still teaching you, still not giving up on you. Just like, where does he get this from? Because there's not a time I've not figured out how to get out of that funk. Okay. So I hope somebody needed to hear that today. Hope somebody needed to hear that today. That's why I still believe in people who in certain times they're like, bro, I'm fuck it, I'm quitting. To us looking back a year, 2 years now, it's like, yo, I finally got some payouts. Hey, I'm finally understanding the market. Hey, yeah, I took a small account, turned it into this amount. Hey, something happened, but yo, that's the first time this happened. There's still areas of growth. There's still firsts that we have to celebrate and take account of because there's growth there. Okay. I literally came from having a meeting with an 8-figure earner, and he's like, bro, I lost millions just to make it here. And some of it is because I got scammed. I put my money in certain platforms, they shut down. He's in rooms where nobody put him in that room. He had to earn his spot in that room. Like it's so many levels out this life. So you ain't the only one losing to gain. You're going to gain something. Make sense, guys? I really hope this is resonating. Okay. All in all, price is bullish for US 30, but I would rather price stop at this level for us to take a potential trade tomorrow. Because trading at all-time highs is not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. It's like when you see price pull back in a low like that, we gotta be able to get in because that's what it's gonna do the next couple of days. But if we are trading at all-time highs and catching them here and wanting to hold, you're gonna get burnt out. So don't be afraid to close positions. And sure, if it keeps going, as long as you are in profit, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. That's about it for me. Definitely will be checking in the markets to see what happens in Asia. There's some good bullish momentum here with gold. Good momentum. I've heard some of the reasons why is like China. Well, I forgot what it is, but yeah, there it is. There it is. Gold gains as Fed trims rates. Investors assess China trade deal. Uh, let's read. Gold prices rose 2% on Thursday, buoyed by a federal interest rate cut, as well as lingering uncertainty over the outcome of a trade between China and the US. Spot gold was up 1.9% at 4,003 per ounce at 1:39 p.m. US gold futures for December delivery settled 0.4% higher at 4,015 per ounce. US President Donald Trump said on Thursday he could reduce tariffs, oh yeah, on China to 47 from 57 in exchange for Beijing resuming US soybean purchases and rare earth exports and cracking down on illicit fentanyl trade. That was wild. I'm like, huh? Fentanyl? Is that much of that going on? Okay. You've seen a little bit of weakness in gold, but as the details of the US China deals came out and people realized it was a pretty hollow agreement, you've seen the markets back off any optimism that the trade wars are set. I think they just playing with us, man. Like, again, we're in the fourth quarter. I thought maybe price would sell off a little bit more, but we had our eyes on this 3,900 level to see if there would come back to retest it. So, yeah, I think this might be the low. And if next week we still maintain structure, I'm gonna be in longs, and we'll see how things play out. We'll see how things play out. Next week will be a new month. Mind you, government is still shut down. But with all this news with China and tariffs receding, tariff percentages receding, all this is telling me like they needed to pull back this market for gold, and they ain't afraid to push it back. And I'll be damned if I miss out on this 4,000 pip move, because like I keep focusing on like news that's coming in randomly when the structure is telling me like, yeah, scale. This is looking more my speed. Things are starting to look on the up and up again. Okay. So imagine between Tuesday, October 21st, and a span of what? 8 days, all this stuff going on, done blown accounts, knocked us out our pivot. But what if making the right decisions, keeping the loss small, still allowed you to maintain a trading account? That's growth. As long as you got something you can re-up to finish the year strong, keep your mind sharp, keep your heart pure, and keep the intention and the fire burning. Okay, guys? Because you can still come out a winner this year. Don't give up on yourself just yet. And with that being said, I think that sums it all up. Do we have any questions? Okay. All right. We're going to close it out right here. You guys have a great rest of your day. Let's keep it locked, man. And we'll talk soon. Of
Thanks, Hans.
Thanks.
course.